Okay, so we shall start na. So let me present my screen for our prayer. So I think you are now seeing my screen. So let us put ourselves in the holy presence of God, with the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father in heaven, omnipotent and sustaining, giver and source of life, we humbly come to you today to praise and worship you for your kindness and trust to us. We, your children, certainly can do nothing without you. We ask for forgiveness for all the trespasses we have done to you and to the people around us. We are sorry for the moments that we failed to be good stewards of you. We thank you, God, for today, for this opportunity to learn and share our knowledge with and to the people in this course. We also thank you for trusting and not giving up on us amidst our shortcomings and defeat. We thank you for the good health, both physically, mentally, and spiritually, that amidst this crisis we are facing, we remain strong in body and soul. We offer you our endeavor. Bless us, heal us, and be with us all throughout this semester. Guide us to make good decisions, and may you be our epitome of stewardship and companionship. We pray that we remain honest and trustworthy amidst the temptations in this online platform. Help us to uphold goodness and righteousness and become good example to our fellow classmates. Above all, your guidance and blessings the best answer that we could have. May we strive to be better as we progress in our lessons and even in our lives. All this we ask through Jesus, your Son, our Redeemer and God, now and forever. Amen. Okay. Sige. So, good morning again, everybody. Welcome po sa ating, let me stop presenting. Welcome po sa ating discussion natin today on our AP05. Uy, hapit na. Ano pa ba to? Yes, this is AP05. Two more topics na lang i-discuss natin. Two more meetings na lang sa Audit Prod. Then, the same two more meetings na lang for our auditing theory perhaps. Okay? This will be our technically third natin na coverage for our quizzer number 3, 'di ba? Our quizzer number 3, yung coverage natin starts with audit of PPE. Then ito, pangalawa, sorry, second pa, why third ang sabi ko kanina. Second, itong audit of investment. Then third will be our audit of short-term liabilities, inventory, and production cycle po tayo. So, yun yung mga tawag nito, mga yun yung mga coverage natin, no, for our quizzer number 3 for auditing problem. For auditing theory, meron tayong dalawa. Okay? That's for the discussion natin last week on completion of audit. Then the next one, the last na coverage natin will be about audit report. Then after nyan, quizzer number 3 tayo. When will be your quizzer number 3, people? I forgot the exact date. It's after November 18 perhaps. 21. Okay, November 21 daw. So ready na mo, people, ha? Ready na mo? Because hindi ako magko-cumulative perhaps, no? Because napaka-short lang nung 1 hour for me to do cumulative, most especially sa audit prob. No, most especially sa audit prob. So na 1 hour. So pila ka book ka problem ko ihatag ana, 1 hour lang, no. 'Di ba? So the time is very limited. Okay? So study ta, people, study ta. Okay, mag-study in town ta, please lang. Okay? By the way, this all of the lessons naman natin is napagdaanan naman ninyo. Sorry. Napagdaanan naman ninyo way back your undergrad. This is a review na lang, but of course, need to enhance something, no, from our discussion natin undergrad. So I hope that so far sa discussion natin, no, you have improved your competency na towards auditing natin. Now, for our AP06, yung sa AP06 natin, I have few na ano, I would like to consult sa inyo, ano, consult talaga, no. Yes, now, syempre, laensad no dito. I would like to share with you yung plans ko on AP05. Okay, sabat to. Okay, lagi naman yung okay, tora. Ito yung present my screen dito sa tablet. Social. Lagot eh. Ayun. I hope you can see my screen sa tablet ko, no? Okay. So, for our AP06, which is supposed to be audit of product expenditure cycle, technically, expenditure cycle, which includes the production cycle, no? Production cycle. Siyempre, sa production cycle man tayo mag-spend, di ba? This because production cycle is part of our cost of goods sold, di ba? So, production cycle and short-term liabilities and inventory. Ito yung magiging coverage natin next, AP06. Gusto ko kasi, ito yung magiging part na tawag nito, yung ma-discuss natin yung mga gray areas on the liabilities for you. For example, yung plan ko dito is, aside from the theories, syempre, we'll discuss theories ng expenditure cycle at ng production cycle. Aside from that, I will be including a parang discussion on accounting for income tax. For income tax. Is this okay lang ba sa atin? I'm going to include discussion on accounting for income tax. Or tapos agad ka Ma'am Grace nito. You done with Ma'am Grace dito, wala pa. Or you have or did Ma'am Grace mention on discussion sa accounting for income tax? Wala. Did she mention anything about this? Okay, wala daw. Sige. Then, I will also include the discussion on IFRIC number 1. Okay? I will also include the discussion on IFRIC number 1, which is yung ating what if mayroong, yung sa ano kasi, yung sa tawag nito, sa ating libro kasi kang Valix, yung ating decommissioning liability, napakasimple lang. Napakasimple lang talaga ng decommissioning liability. Yung effect number 1, what if merong change in decommissioning liability, in decom liab? How do we account for that? So I will discuss also how to account for changes in decommissioning liability and effect number 1. This is the first interpretation standard ng IFRS. So the change in decommissioning liability. Is it okay lang ba sa inyo, ha? Although people I'll tell you people, no, audit man gud siya, 'di ba? So expect jud na long problems jud ang mga mugawa sa exam kanang classic no audit problems. But I would like also na ma-update pud mo, no, sa mga bag-ong I will take this opportunity ba na ma-update mo sa mga other side ng financial accounting, no, because what ito kabalo, 'di ba? Mo gawas wata ka mo asa siya magawas sa audit ba siya magawas or sa FAR, 'di ba? So at least you have knowledge on this, on how to account for changes in the commissioning liability. Alam niyo naman, 'di ba, ang BOA natin napaka unpredictable, 'di ba? And napaka-stressful na mga exams nila. So I think it's better na na ma-discuss natin itong mga ganap na ito. Is it okay lang ba? My plans also gani was to include, I forgot the number daw, the number of that peak interpretation. Hindi yung land and building. I will not discuss anymore land and building na peak interpretation. I forgot the exact list of peak interpretation. Interpretation. Sapot sa. Basta katong peak interpretation, I'm going to, ano ha, search muna ako dito. Ayun, ay, i-freak mo na siya. Ayun. Peak interpretation on cryptocurrency by cryptocurrency. Meron kasing bago dito. Peak interpretation on, ito, number 2019-02. This is ano, ito yung ano, yung discuss namin discuss ko normally sa mga quiz bowlers ko, yung peak interpretation ng cryptographic assets. Okay? Kasi sabi doon sa peak interpretation, pwede siyang maging inventory, pwede siyang maging intangible asset, pwede siyang maging investment din. So, which is which? 'Di ba? So, I will include, is it okay? By the way, kani inventory, gi ka naman taana. 'Di ba? Naka-discuss na so, of course, we'll discuss pa rin inventory, siguro sa audit na of inventory, we'll discuss mga three three problems. Tapos, ang the rest na mga problems to solve natin is mga ganito na mga short problems ng income tax, short problems ng IFRIC 1, then discuss tayo konti ng peak interpretation. Okay? Para ma-update lang talaga kayo. No? So that you'll be updated. Then again, separate ito na material. I'll be giving a separate material for the updates. Na? Hindi talaga to siya yung tawag nito. Hindi to siya this will not be embedded on the materials natin ng production cycle, short-term liability at inventory. This is a separate material talaga, this one. Okay lang ba, people? Basta di mo ganahan ba, di na ako ipadayon na lang. Mag-consultation ko sa inyo ha. Para may approval coming from you. Okay? Sige. Another thing, I would also include, what naman ko people, oy. Naman ko material, di ba? I forgot the title of that standard na naman. Let me, discuss na ako sa mga quiz bowlers manggod na ako, and I felt the obligation na to update you also with this materials, new materials. Di ba na mga ito, ECL, ito. Estimated credit loss. Di ba nag-investment na kayo ka, Ma'am Grace? Estimated credit loss. Did she mention regarding ECL, estimated credit loss? Wala. Tubag tapi ba wala ba ako? Sir, kalimut yung obinaminaw ato, sir, charet. Based na remember ninyo, did you remember discussing aning ECL na to, estimated credit loss? Okay, so napay pa question mark si Miss Perez. Na-include discussion on the ECL, estimated credit loss. Ito lang siguro yung i-add ko sa ating discussion natin for our AP06 on expenditure cycle. Aside from this, I'll be adding a actual board exam discussion ng isang problem ng production cycle. I'll also include a board exam na lalabas na board exam na question on short-term liabilities. Yun lang siguro yung di-discuss natin on AP06. But again, madaming problems dyan for you to practice. Ilalagay ko for you to practice. But I'll be emphasizing yung mga actual board exam na mga problems. So that, malay mo, di ba, babalik sa board exam. Our SEPALE is, kuha naman na siya people, kanang test bank. They have a test bank. Balik ka ng pangutanan niya. Napagaya ito ay gawa sa board exam niya, ginaukuan pa, old tax code pa, o correct. Diba? So, better, it's good that we, tawag nito, yung practice, no, yung mga board exam na mga questions, and itong mga mga new topics that might came out. Although, itong peak interpretation ECL is more on theories lang to siya. More on theories. May tayong computation konti, pero hindi siya hindi siya that bombarded compared to accounting for income tax and on IFRIC number 1 on changes in decommissioning liability. Okay? So, okay ta ha, sa morning class, we are amenable of this na parang natin flow sa discussion natin on tawag nito sa ating AP06 natin. I will be again itong naka-bracket dito. I will be giving a separate material for this. Panapod mo yung idea on this. Okay? Okay, sige. So, kaya na dapita. Okay. Dito muna tayo. Let's discuss the problem number 7 on the AP04 na material. Itong intangible asset. Supposed to be, I will be discussing this one, on next pa, AP06. Ngayon na lang. Okay? This morning, we'll be discussing, 5 problems this morning, no? For us. I hope that you find this morning enjoyable and fruitful. Gipulawan ba na ako ni sa problem people? Kaning problem number 7 natin today sa new material natin, ako ba siyang gipulawan tinuod lang. Siya gipulawan nga naman. Agay, di ko kabalo. Ito as a very new problem to me. And ako sa gipulawan, syempre, dili pwede na di na ako siya ma-justify sa inyo. Akong gipulawan, akong basag standard, both past 28 and IFRS 9. Nagtanaw pa dyan mga foreign authors na mga tawag nito na mga references for me to justify on how to compute for dilution. Ano yung good? Ano yung situation niya? 30% imo ownership, associate ka, di ba? What if naay gi-offer na share sa lain? Na-offer share sa lain. So meaning, ang from 30%, nahimong 25% na lang ka. How to account for that? So, how to account for dilution of percentage? No, dilution of, anong tawag nito? Dilution of ownership under investment in associate. Then sa evening, the problem number 9, bago din itong problem number 9 sa evening, itong problem number 9 will be all about step acquisition. What if 10% ka, na-acquire ka ng another 10%, naging 20% na. So how do we account for step acquisition, no? From non-controlling up to significant influence. So muna siya akong pang-discuss natin today. Something new. Kaya nga naman, baik naman good ni. 'Di ba? Ako pang magpapadyo ko po kung mga problems na niagi na katong inyuhang undergrad, man, way bagong knowledge, nag-review ra mo, 'di ba? So, ako ni Pulawan people, so laban lang jud ta later. Okay, sige. Let's proceed to problem number 7, everybody. Okay? The accounting records of Alisa Corporation, which was organized in 2013, include only one account for all intangible assets. The following is a summary of the items debited to the said account in 2013 and 2014. So ito yung mga tawag nito, mga accounts, transactions transpired between 2013 to 2014 relating to your intangible assets. Okay? So on July 1, there was a franchise which is for indefinite term 1 to 60. Okay, so nato yung franchise na 1 to 60 franchise. Meron na tayo on October 1, ato sa ikuha na go over muna tayo. October 1, please advance payment. Oh, Bayad sa lease. Therefore, I think this is a rent expense. This should be an expense. Rent expense dapat to siya. Bayad sa renta, di ba? Starting October 1, 2013. Net loss for 2013, including incorporating fees and 30,000 and related legal fees of organizing the business 150,000. Total net loss is 480. This is to be expense. Expense dapat to siya, no? The whole 480. At hindi dapat siya i-capitalize as intangible asset. Okay? On the old standard, itong mga incorporation fees and fees relating to organizing the business, itong 30 and 150, kinakapitalize to siya. But on the new standard, again, all of these are considered expense na. Okay? So there's no way that you will rationalize to me, you are going to have a debate with me na, sir, dapat i-capitalize because never na po natin siya kinakapitalize. So net loss, including those incorporation fees and other fees in organizing the business are to be expensed. And the whole 480. January 2, purchased patent, 10-year life. Oh, this is patent. May naman. March 1, cost of developing a recipe. This is to be expensed. You know, recipe man na siya people, di man siya asset. No? The asset, the thing that could be considered as asset when the recipe is already being kanang listed as intellectual property. In this case, dine-develop pa din yung recipe. Therefore, there is no probable economic benefit pa relating to the recipe. So, the 2,250 is to be expensed. Purchase goodwill. So, since purchase pa na goodwill, capitalize tong goodwill. Now, this is to be capitalized kasi purchase. Pag internally generated yung goodwill, in-expense po natin siya. The legal fees on successful defense of the patent, this is to be expense. Okay? Legal fees in defending patent from any lawsuit, whether successful or unsuccessful, are to be expensed. Okay? So, in-expense po natin siya, everyone. So, ito, audit notes. Letter A, on 2013, dapat to siya. The management estimates that the annual net future cash flow from the franchise continued use was at 180,000. Sige, dabi, franchise tayo franchise. 1,260 yung cost niya. On 2013, kunin natin ang kanyang recoverable amount. Okay? Oh, 180,000 daw ang iyahang future cash flow. The market rate is 12%. Tapos indefinite, di ba ang term sa franchise? The franchise has indefinite term. So, we have 180 divided by 12%. Pila man na ang atong recoverable amount. Technically, the value in use or the recoverable amount. Asan pa ito? Ilan siya? 1.5 million. Nakakompute naman tayo mo. 1.5 million. Remember ha, the impairment happens, magkakaroon ng impairment if mas malaki yung carrying amount kaysa recoverable amount natin. So for 2013, I believe there is no impairment. Okay ba tayo? On 2013, there is no impairment. Next, 2014. Sige, 150 na annually. So 150 divided by 12%, yan na siya. 1,250. Tama man, no? 1,250. So, meron tayong impairment na kasi mas malaki na yung carrying amount na 1,260 versus 1,250. So, on 2014, meron tayong impairment na 10,000. And the carrying amount na natin will be letter B, 1,250. From 1,260 minus the impairment na 10,000, our carrying amount will be 1,250, which is equal to the carrying value, or which is equal to the recoverable amount of the franchise. So for number 1, we have Bravo. Next, number 2 tayo. What is the correct carrying value of the patent tayo? Okay, number 2, correct carrying value ng patent ng as of 2014. Okay? On January 2, 2014, bumili tayo ng patent with 10-year life for 2,220. Okay? So we have 2,220. 2,220. Okay? So, 'di ba, syempre amortize natin siya, tama ba? O, divide by 10 years. Yung amort natin will be 222,000. 'Di ba? 222,000 natin magiging amortization. So, 2,220,000 minus 222,000. Na magkano yung carrying amount natin before the impairment? Siyempre, test natin to siya for impairment. Amen? This our amortization. Magkano yan? 220,000 minus 222. 1998. Yawa ay 1998. 1,998,000. This is the CA before the impairment na nangyari. Okay, ano ba yun? Tapos, okay. Now, test natin for impairment. Meron siyang cash flow down na 337,822. Since, di ba meron siyang definite life? Di ba ang life ng patent is for 10 years? Di ba? 10 years yung life ng patent natin. So, dito people be, PB of 12%, 10 year minus 1. Siyempre kayo, nag-amortize na tayo ng 1 year. So, the remaining life na lang niya is 9. So, PV of 1, of annuity, sorry, of ordinary annuity of 12% for 9 periods. Napila mo na sa people. 1.12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Minus 1 divided by 0.12. 5 point something. Okay, confirm ko people ha, kay tanga-tanga earns bet o sa hydrin. Sad ako sa inyo ha. Kama kong double checker na ako. Normally, mag-double check man ko, but since naman mo, you'll be my double checker. Hindi na ko mag-effort mag-double check. Wow. So, we have 5.3282. Sige daw, people, be. 337,822 times 5.3282. Pila tong recoverable amount? Times 337,822. 180,000. Ano? 1.8 million. Sorry, 1.8 million. Okay? 1.8 million tayo. So, merong nangyaring impairment. No, the impairment happens technically. So, meron tayong impairment na 1,998 versus 1.8 million. Meron tayong impairment na 198,000 for 2014. Okay ba? Basta na people. Okay, sige, sige. Good, good, good. Tubag ta people, kaya na di ko balong. Kasi nag-stock na ko diri na 198,000. Okay. So, our carrying amount natin will be the after impairment. So, 1,998 minus 198. Technically, that's 1.8 million. Kaya for number 2, yung declare natin na answer last is letter B. 1.8 million. Next. Number 3, what is the retroactive adjustment to the retained earnings beginning 2014 and what is the total expense for 2014? Sige, so, no, this is 2013 dapat to siya. Beginning 2014, technically 2013. Okay? Beginning 2014, meaning 2013. So, i-account natin people, magkano yung expense na dapat sa 2013 na na-capitalize at magkano yung expense dapat for 2014. Okay? Sige. Dito tayo. 2013 na expenses, then 2014 na mga expenses. Okay? Dito tayo. Itong lease advance, itong October 1 na lease advance payment. Sige daw. This is for 2 years, diba? 2-year term. So, 840,000 divided by 2. 840 divided by 2. This is 420 perhaps. No? 420,000. Okay. Sa 2013, nag-start man sa October 1, 2013. So, that's how many months na lang to December? October, November, then December. So, 420 daw. Times 3 over 12. Pila na siya, people? Times 3 over 12. 105. 105,000. And then, for 2014, whole year na 420,000. No? So, for 2000, tawag nito, 2014, whole year na 420,000. Okay? Next. December 3. Diba all of these na 480 should be lost. These are to be expensed dapat. Okay? So, we have 480 dito. 100, under 2013. Okay? Next. Itong cost of developing a recipe na 2,250. This is to be expensed under 2014 yan siya. So, you have 2,250. Itong ano din natin, July 1 na defense ng patent na 379,500. This is to be expensed also. Another expense natin is yung 10,000 na impairment ng ating intangible. Another expense is yung amortization natin ng ating patent, 222,000. The last expense is yung ating impairment ng ating patent na 198. Okay? Okay, total 2013, 105 plus 480, this is 585. 585. Okay? For 2014, ulit. Total natin, total nyo yan, di ko na isulat dyan. Total nyo na. 420 plus 2,250, okay, plus 379, 500, plus 10,000, gas, plus 222, plus 198. Tama ba pag-add na ko? 3,479. Tama ba pag-add na ko? Ano? Okay. So, for number 1, ito. Number 3, sorry, 585. And number 4, ito, 3,479. May add nyo lang yung pinagsusulat natin kanina. That's it. So, that is how we rationalize, yung mga answers dito sa problem number 7. Tinashock mo, no? People expect sa board exam, people, na may mga problems na napraktisan nyo na mahahaba. Pagdating sa board exam, it will become shorter. Na may mga instances na ganyan na mahaba siya sa problem na nasa mga reviewers. Pagdating sa exam, board exam, shorter version niya or parang simpler version niya. Itong problem number 7 natin, meron to siyang longer version na siya mas complicated na version sa mga reviewers. Tama ba? Kasi mga na-familiar ani na mga inaakuan na question. I think nakuha na ko na siya last school year dito sa pre-rev din and even sa undergrad during the online class. Nako'y taas-taas anit. Manauta na pa siya about SME, Tama ba? Still remember this problem? And wala na. Sala na siya people. Tapos, taas-taas to siya. Kaya siya, this is a shorter version. This is how the board exam will look like. Okay? Problem number 9 din is a board exam problem din siya. This is nothing. I'll be discussing that one in the class also. Okay? So, okay na tayo so far dito sa ating audit of intangibles. Any question and clarification sa ating audit ng intangible natin? Sige lang, after our discussion ng theories nito, konti naman tong theories dito, we'll have a break, no? Then we'll continue with our discussion. Wala na. Okay, wala daw. Sige. Ano po ni? Okay. So we'll proceed with our audit of investments. I would like to share something muna, no? Yung mga students ko kasi ngayon sa online class, I asked them to complete a certain forum sa LMS, asking them, no, na ano yung kanilang mga thoughts on investment, meron na ba silang mga experience on how to audit investment, and were they involved on those investments. Parang majority of them, I was, yung parang, di po na-shock, no? Pero parang, I find it interesting that some of them, or talagang let's say mga 40% of them, nag-invest ng kapa, Rygen, o kanang bago karon, Repa, bago na karon, di ba? That's their, parang, tawag nito, that's their idea of what investments are, 'di ba? So, I asked them on our online session, do you think yung mga shinare nyo about Kappa, Rygen, Repa na mga investment scams are really are really investment in the context of business? So, the answer there is no. Because first and foremost, those types of investment are illegitimate, 'di ba? And those type of investment has a very high risk. And for certain companies to put their excess money to that will be a waste of time, will be a waste of money in case matiway, 'di ba, ang katong investment na scam, 'di ba? They're also friends of mine, di mga CPA, no? Asked me about, okay lang ba mag-invest sila ato kay kasi last month, ito to last month, way back, September pa yata to, I forgot. Mga dalawa sila, approach me, asking me na, okay lang ba mag-invest sila ani na repa something, sa kuha ko na. Technically, kung atong tanawan ng repa-repa diha, mura na siya katong kapa, no, nadaho kay interest, no. No? So, ay mo ilahan na murag, so the higher the risk, the higher the return, the higher the risk. So, ko silahan na wala joy makahatag na interest, no? Mga ana jud, no? Pero ko sila na kung gusto jud mo, kung di jud mapugnan, if you really wanted to take the risk, I told them na just invest, just shell out money that you are willing to lose, no? So, yun sinabi ko sa kanila. Then I found out that nag-invest sila pero konting money lang. Yeah, it's too good to be true, no? Gabi ba 5K to 20K oy moral. Mana siya tong kung kaan, mana siya ang Rygen, 'di ba 400 man to, 400 times ang interest sa Rygen. Na 5K may 120K correct. Oh, na dyan mainggan niya sa easy money. Ban lang, mo tay mahimo 'di ba? Ah, tawag nito, even how much we try to educate them, nandiyan mga people that will really venture that will really take the risk. Kumbaga, so my last advice, sabi ko sila, okay. So just invest lang kung ano yung kaya mo na mawala. And it turned out na yung ininvest na lang is 5,000 something. Yun lang yung ininvest niya. Katong yung willing lang siya mawala. Kasi di ba, no, sa mga balita, some of them hilak-hilak na because they invested millions. Di ba, grabe. They invested millions tapos it turned out that it was a scam. No? So, again, just invest what you're willing to lose lang dyan. No? Medyo ka mapugnan, hala, sige, bahala ka. Just invest what you are willing to lose. Okay. Sige. So, in the audit of investment, in the context of businesses, these types of investments ko, no, are not really investment. When we talk about investments in tawag nito, in the context of business, it could be classified into four types of investment. You have investment in equity instruments, pwede siya investment in bonds or technically investment in debt securities, IDS. It could be investments on property, no? Property or investments in funds. These are the things, no? And things. These are the tawag nito mga investments that is considered in the context of business and in the context of our accounting standard natin. Okay? Now, when we audit these types of investment, it's very important that we need to have this what we call yung parang kanyang certificate. Siyempre, if you have investments sa equity securities, siyempre, you should own a share certificate. And if you're investing sa debt securities, of course, you have this what we call bond indenture. If you're investing sa isang property, therefore, you should have at least a title, 'di ba, ng property. 'Di ba? If you're investing sa mga funds, of course, you should have a certificate of ownership ng isang fund or certificate of investment on that certain fund. Dapat tayo, when we audit this type of investment, we need to substantiate first the existence, kung meron ba talaga tayong investment. And the approach na ginagamit natin in auditing investment is what we call reliance approach. Meaning, tinitingnan natin yung internal control, no? We evaluate and test the controls for us to set the control risk at minimum, then we rely on the controls, no? Reliance approach siya. Yung ating tinitira natin is test of control. And from the test of control, diyan na tayo magre-rely. Kaya nga reliance approach. Magre-rely tayo. We're going to rely to our parang evaluation, the result of our test of control for us to make or to design our substantive testing natin. Hindi mo ibig sabihin na mag-TOC ka na, hindi ka na substantive testing. Okay? Meron pa ring substantive testing. But if you assess that the control risk is below maximum, mababa yung control risk, then you may lessen your substantive test. That's what we call reliance approach. Okay? We'll rely on the evaluation natin ng ating control, ng test of control natin. Sa ating internal control. Okay? Now, in auditing investment, of course, tinatingnan natin the occurrence and the authorization. 'Di ba? We invest money, we invest funds, we invest resources which are excess. No? We invest excess resources. And these excess resources, the investment of these, tawag nito, excess resources must be authorized, no? By the board of directors. No? The board of directors should establish general policies to guide the entity's investment activities, while the specific procedure for investment transaction may be delegated to individual executive, investment committee, or outside investment advisors. Basta, importante, priority natin, dapat talaga meron tayong authorization. Next is the completeness. So, syempre, we need to have a proper maintenance of records. One control for handling the detailed securities transaction is maintenance of a securities ledger that records all securities owned by the client. Okay? So dapat lahat ng meron tayo, those are completely recorded in our financial statements natin. And lastly, ito yung medyo mahirap when we reach the substantive testing, the accuracy and the classification. Bakit po siya mahirap itong accuracy and classification? Especially if your investment do not have a ready fair value. Example, the investment in debt securities, investment in equity securities, they are not actively traded in the market. So how will you determine the fair value, 'di ba, of that investment? How will you determine the value of that equity or debt securities if it is not fairly if it is not actively traded in the market, 'di ba? So, diyan medyo mahirap siya sa actual na assessment, the accuracy and the classification. Although sa classification, wala masyado dapat tayong problema because it should be explicitly said, no, sa ano natin, sa management na ito yung pag equity securities, ito yung classification niya. Pag debt securities, magbe-base siya sa business model. Mamaya, we'll discuss more of that. Okay? One final issue related to the control risk of for investment is that client should have an adequate custodial procedure to safeguard against theft. Kaya, these investments are stored in a safe deposit box. Siyempre, if na under you were under me way back your audit problem niyo na days, you 'di ba, you will appreciate na there should be two or more persons who shall have a parang shall simultaneously access the safety deposit box. And if na-under ko kayo, of course, na po pa-drawing anang safety deposit box or sa bago ko na mga lessons ko is I'm using a PowerPoint na sa to illustrate no the internal control over the safety deposit box natin. Remember, two or more persons shall maintain or shall have a simultaneous access over the safety deposit box. Okay? Ito nga, no? So, we need to substantiate the existence, di ba? We need to be cognizant kung cost ba ang magiging kanyang measurement, kung fair value ba, gagamit ba tayo ng equity method or consolidation, PFRS number 3 on investment in subsidiary. Okay? Evidence pertaining to valuation, of course, must be substantiated. For example, the audited financial statements, the unaudited financial statements, market quotations, and other evidences regarding the valuation. Okay? Ito sabi ko kanina, simultaneous verification. Because of the liquid nature of these securities, the auditor's inspection is generally performed at year-end simultaneously with the audit of cash, bank loans, and other related items. Ito yung sinasabi natin na there might be certain instances na itong mga certificate, itong mga investment natin could qualify as cash equivalent na baka binili siya parang let us say mga 3 days, no? Mga 3 months, at least 3 months, at most 3 months before the maturity. Kaya, in that case, pwede siya ma-classify as investment as cash equivalent. Ito yung mga controls, mga specific controls. Dapat there must be an authorization sa purchase and sale. No? The treasurer should authorize purchase and sales up to a certain value. Pag mo-over na siya on that certain value, the approval shall come from the board of directors. no? Two individuals must be present when accessing the securities. Okay? Recorded balances of investments should periodically compared with the actual securities held by individuals independent of the function. Okay? Now, these are the typical mga audit procedures that we do in auditing investment, no, on securities. So, the review on the compliance. Titingnan natin if those investments were held as collateral, no, being pledged. And syempre, those type of arrangements should be properly disclosed. No? Loan agreements for pledging, management classification of the held for investment, securities held for investment, confirmation of securities, inspection and count securities on hand, and compare serial numbers with those on the records. No? Nag-tracing diya dapita. Vouching, reviewing the cut-off of the cash receipt and disbursement related to those securities, performing analytical procedures, reconciliation of the dividends received. Of course, syempre, di ba? If you are investment sa equity securities, expect na meron kang dividends na marireceive. Okay? Put and extend summary investment security schedules to verify clerical accuracy. Reconcile summary inventory schedules to the GL to verify that kung tama ba yun, the clerical accuracy, the amortization of premium and discount, no? Especially if you are holding investment in debt securities. Tapos, classify mo siya at amortized cost. Dapat, klaro-klaro yung kanyang amortization ng premium at discount. Determine the market value of the securities classified as trading or available for sale. Dapat, again, pag naka-measure siya at fair value, dapat klaro-klaro dapat kung magkano talaga yung fair value. Okay? Then, review audited financial statement to assure, not to assure that they are properly valued at year. Yung mga major investment are properly valued at year-end. So that's number 15 for the for the procedures. Any question? Alay mo po na. Okay, so if there are no questions, on my clock, it's 9:26, 9:27. Yeah, so that we'll go back by 9:35. Nababalik tayo by 9:35. Let's have like a 8-minute break. We'll go back by 9:35. 9:35. Okay, sige. Sige. Okay. Sige, let's go back. Ba ito? Ayun. Are you there, everyone? Everyone? Go ba ni? Ba- Ayun. Na okay ka lang. Ayun. Gamay ba no? Ako sa ikuan din. Exit sa ang kuan, sharing. I'll restart the sharing. Share my screen. Kaya ako screen nagihigda ra ko. Uy, 8:38 naman di ay 9:38 naman di. Mo kabantay. Sige. Okay, let's continue our discussion. So, for investment in equity securities, tatlo yung pwedeng maging result niyan. Pwede siya may control, pwede siya control exists, meaning more than 50% of the voting shares, that is ordinary share, that's invest in subsidiary. Pag 20 to 50%, it means that significant influence exists, that's investment in associates. Pag less than naman 20% or no control nor no significant influence, it could either be FA, FB, TPL, financial asset at fair value, through PL, which is known as the trading securities, and the C2, no, the second classification, FFBTOCI, which is its former name was available for sale. Okay? Okay. So, under PFRS number 9, ito yung ating ano natin in treatment natin for our investment, no, at fair value to PL and through OCI. At initial recognition, transaction cost or expense under PL. Sa OCI, pinakapitalize po natin yung transaction cost plus transaction cost. In getting the unrealized gain or loss under PL, syempre, fair value versus the carrying amount or the fair value last year. Fair value this year versus fair value this year, that's the unrealized gain or loss. No? Under PL. Invest at the fair value through OCI. For this period, fair value last year versus fair value last year. Fair value of the balance sheet date versus the carrying amount. Pero pag as of the period, it's the fair value this year versus yung kanyang original cost. Yung cost niya talaga from the very beginning. The acquisition cost. Kumbaga, the original cost. Because remember, OCI is papunta siya sa ating balance sheet. It will be classified to our balance sheet natin. Okay? Next, letter C for the disposal. So just for the profit or loss, proceeds versus carrying amount, that's our realized gain or loss, which will go to our income statement. But remember, for OCI, wala po tayong gain or loss. No gain or loss. Zero. No gain or loss. Okay? Because ang treatment dito, before natin siya ibenta, we need to remeasure, then sell. No? From the carrying amount, i-remeasure natin siya sa kanyang fair value, then after that one, ibebenta natin siya. For example, at October 31, 2021, we sold securities for 100,000. The carrying amount niya is 80,000. So gagawin natin, increase muna natin. Invest FAFVTOCI, tapos unrealized gain OCI. Ang 80 gagawin nating 100. So 20,000. So ngayon na 80, this becomes 100 na. So benta natin siya, cash FAFVTOCI 100,000. Okay? Pero kung if we're going to make this one a compound, parang compound entry, so FAFV TOCI, sorry, cash pala dapat, sorry. Cash. Ito sa desisect. Cash, 100,000. FAFVTOCI, 80,000. Unrealized gain. Na unrealized gain, you gain for 20,000. Technically, wala yung gain or loss papunta sa ating income statement. Lahat is papunta sa ating other comprehensive income. Everything will go sa ating other comprehensive income. Is that clear? Magana, pag magbaligya ta og OCI, no gain or loss. Lahat papunta sa unrealized gain, papunta sa ating OCI natin. That's for PFRS number 9. Sa past 39, sa past 39, ito yung computation natin, past 39. Magtatanong about past 39, ito magiging computation, natin gain or loss sa income statement. But sa new standard, PFRS number 9, ang gain or loss, papunta siya sa ating OCI, ibutang sa auto. PFRS 9, OCI. Pag past 39, go back sa katong, pare lang siya sa true PL na na-gain or loss sa income statement. Okay? Next. There shall be no impairment loss. Any increase or decline shall be attributable to unrealized gain or loss. Pag magsaka ang value, unrealized gain. Pag mababang value, unrealized loss. Wala siyang impairment. Okay? Siyempre, since walang impairment, wala ding recovery sa impairment loss. Now, there shall also be no recovery of the impairment loss. And of course, letter F, there will be no reclassification. No reclassification will happen. Okay? Next, babantayan natin. Lahat ng under sa akin, you will know na itong concept ng dividend on, na pag binenta siya, between the declaration and the record date, na date of record, yun, date of record dyan, it means that the selling price includes the dividend. Therefore, to get the cost, purchase price minus mo yung dividend. Purchase price minus dividend receivable. For the cash dividends shall be credited to dividend income upon declaration. For property dividends, it's income at the fair value on the declaration date. Stock dividend, memo entry. Stock in lieu of cash dividend. Fair value of the cash received. Then second natin, priorities, that's supposed to be cash dividend. Cash in lieu of stock dividend, this is as if approach, as if na-receive mo yung stock dividend, tapos binenta mo agad. Hereby, gain or loss are to be recognized. Na-discuss mo rin ka, Ma'am Grace, karing dividend something. Katong sa, na-discuss mag-investment. Or ba, kasi mag-discuss mo ni pohon ka, Ma'am Grace, basi mag-discuss mo pohon ani. Special dividends. No? Ito yung tawag sa you are holding a ordinary share but you receive preference shares, no? Preference share received as dividend on ordinary shares held. That's what we call special dividends. And we have what we call share assessment. Shall be debited to the investment account and credited to cash. Okay? Next tayo, associate yan siya. Okay, associate. We'll go back sa associate na in a while. Now, investment in debt securities po tayo. Yung kanina sa equity securities, kanina, ang classification niya to classify as PL or OCI, it will be based on the discretion ng company. It will be based on the discretion. If the BOD elected na PL, PL na siya forever. Okay? If the BOD elected na OCI siya, OCI na siya forever. Kaya nga, 'di ba kanina, Sa letter F, walang reclassification because once you elect that one, that is an irrevocable election na siya. Therefore, transfer in or out of those invested in fair value is not allowed. Okay? Hindi po siya allowed yung reclassification. But dito sa investment in debt securities po, yung classification niya will be based on the business model. Okay? Magbabase po siya sa business model. If the business model change, mag-change din yung kanyang classification. Therefore, expect dito sa debt securities that allowed po yung reclassification. Okay? Sa investment in debt securities, allowed po yung reclassification given na may change sa business model. Kasi sa business model po yung magiging ano natin, primary basis sa tawag nito, value or yung classification ng ating debt securities. Mayroon tayong dalawang business model. Okay? To realize short-term profit, and to collect contractual cash flow. Collect contractual cash flow. If our business model natin is to realize short-term profit, it is FAFBTPL yung magiging classification niya. If the business model is to collect contractual cash flow, then the classification is FAFV, FA at, sorry, FA at amortized cost. Lang ha? Let me switch, connection. Ayun. Mic test. Ayun. Sige. Balik tayo. If the business model is to realize short-term profit, FFBTPL. If the business model is to collect contractual cash flow, FA at amortized cost. If the business model is both to realize short-term profit, both short-term profit and to collect contractual cash flow, yung kanyang magiging classification is FA, FV, T, OCI na po siya. Okay? That's for realized short-term profits, both again realized short-term profits and collect contractual cash flow. Okay? At initial recognition, sa under true profit or loss, in-expense talaga immediately yung transaction cost. But for OCI and for amortized cost, we add, no? We capitalize the transaction cost plus the transaction cost. At the end of the year, at the balance sheet, syempre, FA at fair value, so syempre, it shall be measured at fair value. True profit or loss. FA at fair value to OCI, fair value din yung kanyang valuation. FA at amortized cost. So, syempre, yung kanyang balance sheet valuation, yung December 31 niya na balance will be based on the amortized cost. As simple as that. FAFBTPL o FA o FAFB, FB o fair value. FFBT OCI o FV o fair value. If amortized cost ay amortized cost. Amortized cost din yung kanyang subsequent measurement po niya. Okay? Sige. So, at the end, same pa rin, no? Pinan po natin people, oh. So, the fair value to profit or loss, the unrealized gain will be technically the fair value of the balance sheet date versus the fair value last year. That's for our, true PL. Pag ito po, OCI naman, for the year, fair value of the balance sheet versus the carrying amount. And for the as of the period, fair value versus the amortized cost. Okay? Fair value versus the amortized cost. Para makuha yung unrealized gain or loss. For the amortized cost, syempre at amortized cost. wala tayong unrealized gain or loss dyan sa amortized cost. Okay? Sa disposal, sa disposal, may tayong realized na. Lahat na, bebenta na natin lahat. Okay? The carrying value versus the cost, ay the proceeds versus the carrying value, realized na siya. Wala na tayong unrealized gain dito sa debt securities. Okay? So, pag naka-true PL, no impairment. Pag naka-OCI, may impairment. Pag amortized cost, may impairment. Ito din yung since walang impairment sa PL, wala din siyang recovery. Okay? Ito yung magiging formula natin for the reversal of the impairment loss. And since allowed tayo mag-change ng business model, so expect na meron din tayong reclassification. So allowed na po yung reclassification natin. And the reclassification shall take effect at the beginning of the following reporting period. No? It shall take effect at the beginning of the reporting period, meaning if June 30, 2021, nag-decide kayo na mag-reclassify, hindi nyo pa pwede i-record yung reclassification June 30, 2021. It is at the beginning of the following reporting period, meaning mag-reclassify lang kayo January 1, 2022. Okay? The reclassification period is at the beginning of the following reporting period. Okay? That's for the reclassification. Ito yung mga rules sa ating reclassification. Those are the different rules sa ating reclassification natin. Yun lang hopefully we can meet these examples sa ating sa ating mga problems natin. Okay? Okay, let's move sa ating problem natin. Problem number 1 tayo. Problem number 1. Ito. Ika-classify natin dito kung saan dito yung fair value through PL, fair value through OCI, saan dito yung amortized cost, saan dito yung associate, saan dito yung subsidiary, saan dito yung investment property. Sige. I need the participation ng lahat. Okay? Ang isasagot nyo, type 1, if FBTPL, type 2, pag fair value through OCI siya, type 3 nyo, sa 3 nga, amortized cost siya, type 4 kung associate siya, IIA siya, type 5 nyo siya pag invest in subsidiary siya, pag may control, then type 6 siya, type 6 nyo pag investment property siya. Okay? Type sa chat box, okay? Sige, first, ito 100,000. What is its classification? Kailang kayo na. Number 1. 1. Next, itong 150,000. This is 2, di ba? Through OCI. How about the 500,000? How about the 500,000? The answer is, that's correct. No? IIA, di ba? 4. 20% man siya, so that's significant influence. No? Amortized cost mo na number 4, number 3, Henry. Henry. Amortized cost mo na siya. Hindi maklaro kung agi. Okay. 1.4 million. This is 51% daw siya. Number 5 niyan siya. That's correct. 5. Itong next na 500,000 equity securities of a company in the active market reacquired with the intention to of reissuance in latter period for short-term profit. Agay, wa nagbasa, wa nagbasa, di nagabasa. Equity securities of the company quoted in an active market reacquired with the intention to of reissuance in latter period for short-term profit. What's this? What's that? Uy, this is a treasury share. Oh, securities ng your own. Oh, equity security ng company gikuha, gi-reacquire nimo. Treasury share na siya. No, di na siya investment. Please lang. Pag investment gani, it must be shares, bonds, or property ng other company. No, nag-invest gani ka. Of the company, own company noon. Oh, that's a treasury share. Oh, next. This 100,000. Debt securities of another company quoted in active market. Business model of the company has objective to hold investment and to hold debt securities for short-term profit. Kaya na, ginuo ko. Business model daw niya. Oh, number 1. Correct one. Next. Ito 500,000. Debt security of another company quoted at the market. Business model of the company's objective to collecting contractual cash flows from the bonds which are primary in the form of interest and principal. Oh, ay business model, klaro na kay business model ha, mga mali pa jud mo diha. 3, amortized cost. Ito, another 500,000 real property. What's this? That's correct. This is inventory. Inventory. 700,000. Real property held for speculation purposes. That's correct. Number 6, investment property. Pag we're gonna speculation people, di pwede ma-stress anak people. Pag speculation gani, that's earning short-term profits. Nagsispekulate ka sa market, o tataas ba to siya? Pag mutaas siya, o you can realize profits na siya diretsyo. Diba? That's speculation. So pag ana gani people ang mga ganaps, if that's the if that's the ang tawag nito, yung mga sagot diyan, no? Speculation, that's technically investment property. Okay? Speculation, realize short-term profits yan siya. Next, real property held as a current factory site. Itong 1 million. That's PPE. Correct. Next, 200,000. Real property of a manufacturing business leased out to another party under operating lease. Manufacturing company ka, na kay separate na real property, tatong real property nung iparentahan nimo siya sa third party under operating lease. What's that? We have talked about this way back PPE. Nag-classification tag PPE ani, ay nagmali-mali epod mo. Kaya siya din ako kung galaps. The answer is, that's correct. Investment property, klaro na kahit akong gi-example dito sa PPE ha, bantay lang jud mo. Abutang ko anis exam gani, bahala jud mo diha. Next, land held for undetermined future use, 800,000. This is investment property, that's correct. Next, 400,000. Land held to be used as future plant site. This is, ano siya? Future plant site. This is PPE. Hmm. Real property being developed as investment property. Oh, yeah. So, ano kaya na investment property? No need to debate over it. Okay? O, pilang number 1 na to? Total. Total ng lahat ng number 1. Total lahat ng number 2. Total lahat ng number 3. Total nyo lahat ng number 4. Total lahat ng number 5. Then total nyo lahat ng number 6. Sige. Okay. Natana kog Shopee ganina. Kog Shopee. Oh, number 1. Total number 1. Total number 1, it's 200,000 perhaps. Tama ba? Total na number 2, we have 150,000 letter A. This is comma. Ano ba na ikuan? 150,000, 150,000. Total number 3, it's 500,000. Okay? Total number 4 ay 50,000 kaya to? 500,000 ba to siya, no? No, 500,000. No, 50,000 na sa kong kandari. Solution kagabi, 500,000. Number 5 natin, 1.4 million. Tama ba? Hmm. Dito is, pila sa number 6? Ito total dito people. Ako siya na total. 2 million? Na, diri wala. Wala, no? Lang ha. Ato kung kano ko gabi Solution ko gabi So, ko gabi na mag-amaw. 7. Okay. Gets ko na. Gets ko na. Itong kanigo sa manufacturing people, tama, wala ko siya na-note ay. Kaya siya, it should be 900,000 man go dapat. That should be 900,000. That's the case. So, syempre, kung original, 2 million. Pero pag 900,000 na siya, the answer is 2.7 million. Okay? Pero again na, the concept is there. The amount lang is na mali. Kaya wala siya sa choices. Kaya 2 million total niya, wala siya sa choices. Okay? Bangbuang nandiyo ko na, bangbuang. Okay. Sige. Let's continue. Let's go. Problem number 2. Pinay. Ay, wait lang. How many problems we are all in all pala ngayon sa material? Ako lagi o kabalo. 10 problems tayo lahat-lahat. Okay, 10 problems. We'll discuss 4 ngayon. We'll discuss 4 mamayang gabi. So, na total na 8 problems na ma-discuss. Diba? Nakaka-happy naman. Okay. Ang i-discuss na to karon sa inyo ha, problem number 1, AM, problem number 1, problem number 2, this is AM, problem number 6, problem number 6, asa tong panda, again. 4, 5, problem number 6, AM, and problem number 7, AM. Mo ito na-stress ako super stress ako. Super stress. But I'm happy actually, no. Lately, I'm very happy lately because katong Thursday, katong Tuesday, so far daga ko naka-learn sa akong life. Katong Tuesday, nagbasa ko og internal audit na libro. Then I come to appreciate na-relate na nako ang internal audit na function sa PSA 610 katong using the work of external auditor. Mas na-appreciate nako siya when I was reading internal audit na book last Tuesday. Yesterday, basking nagpull ako yesterday but I'm very happy that I was able to pull through problem number 7. Itong delusion of associate. Sa bakit ko ma-learn ako ng gabi na po. Problem number 8, this is sa evening class yan siya. Problem number 9, evening class. Then, problem 10, evening class. Ito yung atin. AM. Evening class, ito evening class, problem 4. Evening class, problem 4. Tapos ito, problem evening. Problem 8. Sabi ng problem 8, itong 9 ang labad. Kung ang labad sa inyo, problem 7, ang labad din ng gabi, problem 9. Evening class. Then, problem 10, evening class. Ay naman yung problem 10. Mani naman ang problem number 10. Evening class. Okay? Sige, so let's continue. Problem number 2. A short review on our investment natin. Okay daw? Pinay Corporation had the following portfolio of financial instrument at December 31, 2013. All securities were acquired at the beginning of 2013. So, alpha, beta, delta, correct. Alpha, beta, delta, then, ayun. Denomination, 100,000 shares, 40,000 shares for alpha and beta respectively. 2 million yung face value ng delta bonds. By the way, the delta bonds has 10%, then it's for 3 years. Okay? The recorded na acquisition cost was 5 to 50 para sa alpha shares, 2,350 for the beta shares, then 1,951,126 for the delta bonds. Okay? A pertains to alpha bonds, B pertain to beta bonds, then C pertain to tawag nito to delta bonds. So, start tayo with the alpha bonds muna. Alpha shares, sorry. Alpha shares were acquired and designated at fair value through PL. So, this is FAFVTPL para siya. FAFVTPL. The shares were acquired at 52.50, which included 250 na per share na transaction cost. Oy, marag. Lay man siya batasan. Okay? Naa siya transaction cost na, ito siya, which included a transaction cost na pwede siya 250. Half of the alpha shares, kalahati ng alpha shares were sold at 58 per share on 2014. Sige daw. At sige nga number 1, pilang gain or loss sa pabaligyan ng alpha shares in 2014? Sige daw. Kamo daw solve. Gain or loss sa mga people. Kalahati. So meaning, half of it, 50,000. No, yung nabenta, kalahati na lang din yung natira. This is 57.5 pala dapat. This is 57.5 per share. That's 57.5 per share. Iyang letter A dyan. That's 57.5. Which includes 2.5 per share. Ayan. Tama ba, no? Akong note gabi, ibe. 57.5. Wait lang ha. Ayun. Sige, people, what's our answer? Gain or loss? Sige, o, gain or loss, o, gain or loss. Ako, akbada ka ng whole problem. Hmm. Kinapa may makita din ang information sa baba. Dede ayo. Sige. Ada additional information pa sa baba. Gida atong i-try, atong i-test inyong knowledge, char. Aga na gibaligya 2014. So meaning na-update na ang carrying amount sa alpha shares. Kasi dumaan na siya ng December 31, 2013. Its carrying amount na ngayon will be based on the fair value na 55 per share. What's our gain or loss? Hoy, pila rin total proceeds. How much is our total proceeds? Kung sa day mo? Lang total proceeds. Okay, 50,000. Sorry. 50,000 times 58. That's 2.9 million. O, pila ang total carrying amount? 50,000 times. Ito, di ba? 55. That's the fair value last year. Di ba every year nag-update na ta? Therefore, the acquisition cost, kaning 52.50, kaning 52.50, wa na tayo labot, ana. Kaya 2014, matong ipangutana. The shares already passed the year-end 2013. Therefore, its value, common sense will tell us that its value already is based on the 55 per share. Di na to kinala mag-isa-isa people, kaya di man siya undergrad. Okay? 55 na. So, times 55. Yan na siya. 2,750. So, the answer natin is 150 yung ating gain. Now, we have a gain of 150. So, dito, we have letter A. Realized gain or loss on the share and the sale of shares 2014, 150,000. Next, number 2. Pila daw ang realized gain or loss sa beta shares under past 39. Under past 39. Sige, sabay tayo. Tadluan ta mo kung saan ang past 39. Tapos, unya, kamo ang mag-answer. Pila kaya pag PFRS number 9, pila ang iyahang realized gain or loss sa beta shares. Sabay-sabay sa takaron sa past 39. Okay. Under past 39, again, beta shares were designated as FA at FVTOCI o FA, FVTOCI, FA, FVTOCI. The shares were acquired at 60 per share. 60 per share dahil siya. And then, which included a 1.50 transaction cost. In this case, pasagda lang na kay OCI man siya, di ba? And it's proper, tama man jud na we capitalize transaction cost. So, okay lang na siya, pasagda yung transaction cost. 15,000 of these shares were sold at 59. Sige, compute nyo nga yung ating yung proceeds. 15,000 dito na sa kabila na lang. 15,000 times 59. 885. Tama na 885. 885,000. Now, This is how we compute for the realized gain or loss under past 39, everyone. Pag realized gain or loss gani, magbalik ta sa iyang original cost. 15, ito siya? 15,000 times. Pila yung original cost nga? 60. O, pila man na siya? 900. O. Difference, 15,000 na loss. Realized loss. People, pag may realized loss, paminaw. Ang realized loss, pag mga tanagi paano realized loss, muna siya tong gain or loss na makita sa atong income statement. Okay? Pag unrealized gain or loss, muna makita sa atong OCI. No? Or kanang hindi pa siya nabenta, no? Pag realized gain or loss, muna siya to income state gain or loss makita sa income statement once it was sold. Kaya nga realized, 'di ba? Realized, nakuha na natong amount. Pag unrealized gain or loss ni siya sa OCI or man siyang gain or loss while the securities are not yet sold. 'Di ba? Pag change of fair value. Oh, from one fair value to another fair value, 'di ba? Unrealized gain or loss mo na siya, nabaligya di ay wala. Therefore, unrealized pa na siya. OCI or PL. Basta wala pa nabaligya ha, wala pa nabaligya. Wala pa nabaligya. Pero pag nabaligya na siya, that's already a realized gain or loss. Okay? So for number 2, yung sagot natin is 15,000 yun, ano? O yun, 15,000. O, kamo daw. What is the answer for number 2 given that yung consideration is PFRS number 9? The answer, pila ang gain or loss on sale ng beta shares under PFRS number 9? Napakita ha, ako pakita na ako ang whole problem. Oh, pilang realized gain or loss under PFRS number 9? Gain or loss on sale sa FFBT OCI under PFRS number 9. Katototong discuss ganina lang. Pila answer? That's correct, 0. 'Di ba? Because the under PFRS 9, any unrealized gain, any gain or loss on sale will go to OCI. Kaya wala siya realize. Again, 0. Katong i-discuss 'di ba ganina, people? 'Di ba? Katong ganina. Kaya 'di ba 0, 'di ba? Sabi ko ganina kay padung jud sa unrealized jud sa perminti pag PFRS na mo unrealized gain to ra. Atong ako illustration ganina. 0 jud siya. Pag PFRS number 9, 0. OCI, pila ang realized gain or loss? OCI, PFRS 9, 0. Nga naman, kay masing unsa mahitabo, unrealized gain jud siya under PFRS number 9. Wa tay mahimo mo igibutang sa standard. Klaro ba? Bantay lang ha, bantay lang. Mabayning labad ba ano, mabay labad sa investment kaning LCI, PL, balik ng bagtaron mo. Sige. Review itong discussion natin, please lang. Okay? Next. Okay na tayo dyan. Next. Assuming that the business model has no objective of holding securities to collect contractual cash flow. Ang iyang business model kay dili pag-collect sa contractual cash flow. Kaya ba, no? Ang business model is as no objective of holding debt securities to collect contractual cash flow. Pila daw ang gain or loss on sale sa Delta bonds. Okay. So, if ang ato ang business model is dili to collect contractual cash flow, therefore, our business model is to realize short-term profits. What's our classification if this is the case? What's the classification if this is the case? This is that's correct. FAFBTPL po yan siya. FAFBTPL. So, fair value versus fair value lang tayo. Tapos, baligya man. So, wala kayo problema, ani. Sige daw. Delta bond. Let's read letter C. Okay? Delta bonds were acquired when the prevailing market rate of interest was 11%. The interests are collectible every December 31. Okay, December 1, sorry. I think this is December 31. Ito nakalagay dito. This is dapat December 31, hindi dapat December 1. Okay? Half of the bonds, kalahati ng bonds natin is nabenta nung June 30. Let me check gabi. Yung note ko kagabi sa December 31, December 31 talaga to siya. Half of the bonds were sold on June 30 at 1.1 million. Okay, sige. Now, di ba naka-fair value through PL siya? So therefore, it is updated always at its fair value. Okay. So December 2014 man, so our proceeds natin is 1.1 million. Pero, ang iyang interest is December 31. It was sold June 30. Therefore, na ay 6 months na accrued interest. Diba, i-compute na ko ang 6 months na accrued interest, people. Katunga daw sa bond. So, meaning, sa 2 million na par, kalahati. So, 1 million times 10% times 6/12. Pila man ang atong accrued interest, anak, people? Is it 50,000 ba? No? 50,000 man na, 50,000. So our technically our proceeds lang jud nato is 1,050,000. Okay? Kung natin yung carrying amount of the bonds na nabenta, 'di ba? It was assumed kanina, sabi niyo kanina FAFBTPL. FFBTPL siya, 'di ba? So meaning follow natin yung kanyang fair value na 2035182. Sige daw. 2035182 divided by 2 kay kalahati man ng bansing na benta. What's the half of it? Kumbaga, 2035182 divided by 2. It's 1,017,000 something. I bet. 1 million. Okay. 1,017,591. Difference, people. The difference. That will be our realized gain or loss. $32,409. 32,409. So, letter delta. 32,409. 32,409. Okay na tayo ha. Nabenta na natin yung alpha bonds, nabenta natin yung beta bonds, nabenta na din natin yung delta bond. Sige. Nabenta naman natin. Sige. So, let's analyze muna. Sa alpha shares, 50,000 shares yung natira. Okay? For beta shares, 40,000. Nabenta yung 15,000. So, technically, 35,000 shares na lang siya. Tama ba? 35,000 shares. Yung sa Delta Bonds natin, 1 million na lang ang kaniyang face niya. Okay? Tapos, 2 years na lang siya. Siyempre, dumaan na siya ng at December 31, after 1 year, 2 years na lang siya. Okay? Sige. Now, let's compute. Number 4. Assuming that the business model has an objective of holding debt securities to collect contractual cash flow. Alpha, beta, delta. Di ba si alpha FAFVTPL? Si beta kay FAFVTOCI? Okay? Karon si delta, ang pangutana karon kan delta, ang ganap daw niya, it will be held to collect contractual cash flow. Oh. What is the classification of the delta shares on the assumption on number 4? Ano yung kanya magiging classification na? Kanina, FFBTPL sa number 3 assumption. Ngayon sa number 4, to collect contractual cash flow. The answer is FA at amortized cost. Kasi pag OCI, dapat both. Pag OCI, dapat both. Both to collect contractual cash flow and to realize short-term profits. That's for OCI. Pero pag isa lang, wala contractual cash flow lang, amortized cost. Pag isa lang, to real short-term profit, PLC ya. Amortized cost daw, so ato siyang i-amortize people. Amortize na to people, please. Amortize natin. Sige. Amortize. Okay, ibaligyo man doon na to sa realized gain or loss on 2014. Kanina, oh, laban to ganina. Ito lang iko ang fair value. Karon, what if amortized cost na po daw siya for number 4? Sige, atong i-amortize people. 1951126. We have 1951126. Amortize natin siya for 1 year. Gagamit tayo ng shortcut, ha? Gagamit tayo ng shortcut times 1 point. Pero itong yield niya gani. Delta bonds, let's look at letter C. Delta bonds were acquired when the prevailing market rate of interest was 11%. Times 1.11 minus, magkano nga yung interest niya, people? Kano nga yung interest niya? 2 million times 10%. 200,000. Tama ba? Times 2. Minus 200,000. Pilang yung kining amount at 2013, December 2013. 1951126 times 1.11 minus 200,000. 1965. 1965750. 1965750. Ayun. Okay. Next. Kailan nga siya binenta, people? It was sold June 30, 2014. So mag-amortize tayo ng 6 months. Let's amortize this one for 6 months. So times 1.55. Si kalahati ng 11%. 11% divided by 2, kalahati. 5.5% minus o kalahati din ng 200,000. Kasi again, half year na natin siya gusto i-amortize. Times minus 100,000. Oh. June 2014. June 30, 2014 na kiring amount. Magkano? 1 something pa rin ito. 1973. Sabi? 1965750 times 1.055 minus 100,000. Ayun. 1973 1973,866. 1973866. Yung carrying amount natin. Okay? So, compute natin ulit. The proceeds was 1,050,000 nandyan sa taas. Transfer ko muna itong mga ganap ko ito sa taas. Proceeds was 1,050,000. Then the carrying amount, kalahati nito, 1973866 divided by 2. Okay, kalahati lang yan. So, a million lang yung binenta, kalahati lang po niyan, divide by 2. So, it's 986,933. So, we have 986,933. Therefore, meron tayong gain na 63,067. Type 1 if you agree. Kung tama ba ang pagka-compute na ko diri sa akong solution? Tama bang arithmetic? Okay. So, for number 4, punta muna ako sa kabilang page siya. 63,067, letter A. Number 4, letter A. Okay, so balik muna ako dito para makakopya ang gusto magkopya. 63,067, letter A. Okay. Sige. Let's proceed. Proceed. Okay, number 5. Assuming that the business model, ano ka ba ni alpha, beta, delta. Alpha naka FAFV PPL. Si beta naka OCI, FAFBTOCI. Assuming that the company's business model has the objective of holding debt securities to collect contractual cash flow. So if that's the case, FA at amortized cost to siya. What is the total carrying value of the investment? Presented as FA through profit or loss. So if that's the case, for number 5, letter A lang yung kukunin natin. Kasi ang question kasi, magkano yung i-present as PL. And looking at the classification ng alpha, beta, and delta, si alpha lang yung true PL. So, kunin natin yung fair value ni alpha. Okay? Si alpha kanina, di ba remember kanina si alpha 50,000 shares na lang siya. 50,000 shares si Alpha. 50,000 times 62, fair value ni Alpha. 50,000 times 62, please. Fair value ni Alpha. Ito na, din 62 sa baba ha. Basta nabuta-buta mo. 62. 50,000, sorry. 50,000 times 62. So we have 3.1 million. That's correct, letter A. Next, number 6. Assuming that the business model has no objective or no objective to collect contractual cash flow, what is the CV of the investment presented as true PL? So si Alpha, FAFVTPL pa rin siya. Si Beta, FAFVTOCI. Si Delta ngayon is FAFVTPL na. 'Di ba? Kasi no objective to holding investment to collect contractual cash. So therefore, to realize short-term profit yung kanyang business model automatic. So, kunin natin yung value nito, kunin natin yung value ng Delta. Si Alpha, meron na 3.1 million kanina. So, kunin natin yung fair value ni Delta. Okay? Kunin natin yung fair value ni Delta. Okay. So, 12% yung kanyang yield. 12% yung kanyang yield. Remember ha, ang natira kang Delta is 1 million na lang. So, kunin natin yung kanyang value niya using 1 million for 2 years. 12% na ang yield niya for 2 years of that 1 million. Then remember, yung kanyang stated rate niya is 10%. Okay? So, we have 1 million, then 100,000. So, ito, PV factor, people, of 12% for 2 years. Naman eh. $7,972. No? 7,972. Adi, 1.12 man daw siya, di ba? 2 years. Wait lang, be. 2013. Ay, gross ginoo ko. Sorry. 2013 din siya, di ba? Begin 2013. The question was 2014, meaning 1 year na din siya. 1 year na lang din siya. 1 years. 1 year na lang pala siya, people. 1 year na lang pala. Sorry. Beginning 2013 man din siya. Ngayon, ending 2014. 1 year na lang pala siya. 1 year, 1 year. For 12% for 1 years. 1 year. 1.12. Yun eh. 0.8929. Ba no? 8929 kaya siya kay 0.8929 din. 1 year lang muna siya. Sige. I need the total na lang. You may add the 2, then multiply na siya by 0.8929. Okay, the commutative property of multiplication. Ilang atong value? We have 982,190. 982,190. 182,190. Okay. So, add natin yung lahat-lahat. So, magkano ito siya? 4,082,190. Technically, we have letter B. 6, we have letter B. So, number 6, we have letter B. So, again na, let's be, tawag nito yung cognizant pa dapat tayo sa mga dates. Diba? Ay sa pag-round off siguro nimo. Okay lang na siya. 5 pesos sama dagang magkwarta si Kenry. Taplan na ng Kenry daw. Question and clarification before we take a break, na. Take tag break then pananta. Tugod na ta sa problem 6 and problem 7. The last two natin na problems for this tawag nito session. Taas ni siya, I tell you. Mas mag-theories pa ta. Yeah, pati sakto lang na tong time. No more questions? Sa subten ba? So, dapat bantayan si mo ta, realized ba, unrealized? Unsay classification, ya? Sa mga business model diha, dapat klaro-klaro mga ganap natin sa business model. So, kung wala na pangutana, so in my clock, it's 10:44. We'll go back by 10:50. I know, 10:55. No, we'll go back by 10:55 after 10 minutes. Okay, balik po tayo. Okay. So now, for the remaining time that we have, we'll discuss your investment in associates ninyo po. So, let's go to problem number 6 and problem number 7. Okay, sige. Okay. Prob 6, on January 4, 2014, Isuzu Corporation paid 2,592,000 for 40,000 shares of Suzuki Incorporated ordinary shares. Okay? So the book value daw of Suzuki's assets was 6.4 million, no, on during the acquisition date. The investment represents 30%. Okay, so 40,000 shares yung kaniyang binili, and that represents ano daw, magkano 'yun? 30% of the shares. 30% of the total, no? Total na net asset. That's 30% of the total interest. Okay? Sige, let's continue. um, Suzuki Incorporated gave Isuzu the ability to exercise significant influence over Suzuki. Isuzu received dividends of 6 pesos per share, okay, on December 4, 2014, and Suzuki reported net income of 1 to 80 for the year ended December 31, 2014. The market value of Suzuki shares was, tawag nito, ang 2014 is 64 per share with the cost to sell at a minimum amount. Ano nga yung kuan black? Okay. At a minimum amount. You also ascertain the following information. Ito mga additional information that was um, given po sa atin, which were given to us. Okay? So, on January 4, 2014, the fair value of Suzuki depreciable asset with an average remaining useful life of 8 years exceeded their book value by 640. Okay? With an average remaining useful life of 8 years, yun nga, the remaining of the excess of the cost of the investment of book value is inattributable to attributed to identifiable asset. This is technically your goodwill. This is technically the goodwill. Okay? Sige daw. So, number 1, hahanapin natin, i-compute natin yung ating goodwill. So, for number 1, let's compute for our goodwill natin. So, yung acquisition cost natin is, magkano yun siya? 6.4, wait lang. Acquisition cost is 2,592. 2,592. Okay? Yung book value of net asset, 6.4 million. Tama, no? 6.4 million times 30%. It's how much, everybody? 6.4. 6.4 times 30%, 1,920. Na? 1,920 minus 2,592. So, your excess natin, may excess tayo na 672. May excess tayo na 672. Okay? From that excess, natin sa kabila excess na 672, part of it is attributable to a depreciable asset in which its book value, which its fair value exceeded its book value by 640. So, meron tayong depreciable asset. No, depreciable asset. 672. So, this is 640 times 30%. 640 times 30% 640 times 30%. Tama ba yun? Ay, times 3 dapat. Ay, 640 times 0.3. Tama ka. 192. You have 192,000. Okay? Therefore, meron tayong goodwill. Goodwill na tong excess. The goodwill is 487. 480. So for number 1, letter A, 480,000. Next, what amount of investment income should be reported in Isuzu's income statement for the year ended December 31, 2014? Magkano daw yung ating investment income doon? How much investment income shall we record? Sige. So, i-record muna natin lahat ng mga nangyari sa kanya. Okay, so we have IAA cash for 2,592. Next is, di ba, we expect na meron tayong dividend. May dividend dito na 6 pesos per share. Sige daw, people. 40 cash, IIA. That's 40,000 times 6 pesos per share. Times 6, 240. No, this is 240,000. Yung ating dividend natin. Under IIA po, yung dividend natin, hindi po siya income. That's a return of, tawag nito, return of investment po siya. Okay? Next is share in net income. Na meron siya net income na 1 to 80. So, debit tayo ng IAA, credit investment income, 1 to 80 times 30%. 384. Tama ba kung ipag-compute na ko, ano? 384, yeah. 384. 384,000. Next, 'di ba, meron tayong attributable sa depreciable asset na 192. So we have investment income, IIA, 192,000 times, no. Kung ano to siya, divide to siya by its life. Remaining useful life na 8 years. Divided by 8. 192 divided by 8, 24. No? 24,000. So for number 2, pila daw ang i-record as should be amount of investment income na i-record sa income statement. So nata diri 384 minus 24 kasi naka-credit yung 34, naka-debit yung 24. Our answer would be letter C, 360 per half. Next, number 3, carrying value daw ng ating investment daw. O, record lang natin, natin yung ating journal entry natin. Okay? We have 25, T-account lang tayo. T-account lang tayo. 2,592. Meron tayong 240 na credit. Meron tayong debit na 384. Meron tayong credit na 24. 2,592. Kano yan? IIA. It's around 2,700,000. Tawag pag-compare ko pag 2,712. Okay, 2,712. So, may 2,712,000. But it does not end there. Diba? Remember, meron siyang binigay na fair value. The market value of the shares is 64. Therefore, it's obvious it's a problem na gusto niyang tawag nito, test for impairment. Okay? So, yung recoverable amount natin is 40,000, di ba yung shares? Times 64 pesos per share. Okay? Ilang RA nato? Around 2.5, 2.560. So merong impairment agay. May impairment. Magkano impairment natin? 2.712 minus 2.560. 152. You know, we have 152,000 na impairment. Okay. So our clearing amount natin is not 2.712, but it is 2.560. It's 2.560. So number 3, you have letter A. I mean the value after the impairment. Okay? 2.560. Next, number 4. What total or net amount should be reported in the income statement of Suzuki for the year ended 2014. So, pila dong total daw na amount na i-recognize sa income statement ni Suzuki regarding sa sa investment. Okay? Okay. So, magkano to siya? May atong investment income, 'di ba? Net income na magkano atong 320, 360, 'di ba? 360 yung ating investment income natin. Then meron tayong impairment, 'di ba? Meron tayong impairment loss. Kano yung impairment? 152. This is, I think, on the choices, I think the most logical dito is 208. 208. Letter B. 208. Okay, yun. Nagkuha na mo back certificate, people. Station certificate. Kani good do, kani ani ba? Anting ka no. Nakuha na mo? Awa po ko sa records. Mabaw ako nagkuha. Pero ko na naman ko sa records kay July pa ba ako nabakunahan no? July, first dose, second dose, August. Back certificate, Kenry, mo na siya tong kuan na to kanang tawag ani kanang Philippine-wide na vaccination certificate. Okay lang. Katugunan ako na sa first dose kay bugati akong diri. Aside from that, wala na. Second dose, katulugon lang ko ato. Wala ka daw? Wagto mo sa backcert.doh.gov.ph. Ako man gi-share Kenry, tanawa lang sa kuan, sa kuang wall. Di ba kada LGU di ba naman kanya-kanyang vaccination card ang LGU. So para may sa makonsolidate tanan, kinahanglan mo sa laing nasod na government issued, meaning kuan ba kanang Department of Health issued na mga certificate. Dili siya per local government ang ginadawat pagawa. So the DOH made this with the help of the ICT yata. Hmm? Ayun, ano siya gikuha na ni Jen. backcert.toh.gov.ph. Kanya, nagamit na ninyo, wala po. Nag-charge lang magkuha. Board man ko, kuha lang ko. Nagamit na ninyo. Char lang o kuha. Okay na no at least. Maglat na ko sa booster siguro sa ko magkuha. Para maisa na lang pagkuha. Sa booster shot. No? Kaya after na may third booster shot, something like that. Daw? Hmm. ano, Sinovac, mamo 'to 'di ba mamo 'to mga first na naabot 'di ba na mga vaccine. So, July man ko kay bida-bidahon lagi una-una. Gusto ko mabakuna na as in. Di mag-start ang bakunahan nato kay May with the frontliners tapos baka June nagsugod na ang mga tawag ani ang mga senior citizen. July sugda na ang mga frontliners, yung mga essential workers, teachers, mga construction workers. So, dito minaabot mi dito sa man to gi-held to nga mo ang vaccination na mo ato. Ambot lang. Wapa mo ko'y plano pod mo gawas laing nasod pa. Lugay pa man. Apo kay kuan plan so gawas og laing nasod. Ay magkuha sa to ay kanang pang okay na jud ang COVID. Wala ka na makano jud siya kanang mabot pa ng time na the COVID will be kanang naka-herd immunity jud ang mga tao, di ba? Yan na vaccine tanan, ma-settle na tanan as what you mentioned, no? Okay ra jud ta kanang back to normal na mga airlines na kuan. So kana data na tayo na magkuan ng travel. May guro ta sa tong health food nato and we cannot rush everything although how much we wanted to go abroad say maglaglaag say katong 2020 na odlot ang kuan Thailand. So how much they wanted to go out of the country, but we need to we need to let everything be settled muna, no? Para wala issues and kuan. Uy, laban na uy, Ginoo ko. Next, number 5 tayo. Assuming that the company had no significant influence over Suzuki despite the proportionate ownership. Even though 30% na daw siya, pero wala pa rin siyang significant influence. What total or net amount should be reported in Suzuki's income statement? Okay, if this is the case, yung ating dividends natin na 6 pesos will be income, di ba? Record natin, dividend income. Magkano dividend income natin, people? 40,000 times 6 pesos. Magkano nga yung na-compute kanina? 240. 240 man na ganyan, 240. Ayun. Yung income na, yung ating dividends, to 40,000. Next natin, titingnan, 'di ba yung kanyang acquisition cost is 2,592. So since wala man siya significant influence, therefore, this is simple an FAFBTPL or FFBTPL, no? By default. Therefore, ato siya i-measure. Kung ano to yung unrealized gain or loss na papunta sa PL, no? To compute kung magkano yung total na mag-reflect sa PL. Yung ang cost niya, the original cost niya, at the beginning, its value is 2,592. Ba? You have 2,592. 2,592. Ang fair value niya, pero itong fair value ganyan people na compute ganina, 2,560. Ha? 2,560 man to, no? 2,560. So you have 2,560. So, natay loss. Natay unrealized loss. Ito unrealized loss, 32,000. Unrealized loss. So, minus ta diya og 32,000. Okay? So, I believe the most logical, I think this is 208 dapat. 208,000 yan siya dapat. So, for number 5, answer is letter B, 208,000. Next year, ano lang na, a little bit of insider tip lang. Insider tips, Marklin. Ano bitaw? Next year, not dili ko na dili siya next school year, but next year, 2022, I have a very big feeling that your exam, yung competency appraisal na exam, will be face-to-face next school year. No, next year. Mga January, February, March, something like that. Kuha na siya. Face-to-face ng exam. The UM is prepared naman. Prepared naman ang UM din. No? Ano yung mga ano yung entrance exit sa mga every classroom, nakabutan di entrance or exit. Pila na pod ka days, pila na pod ka times na pod nag-conduct ang UM o board exam, no, sa BE building mismo. So, kung kamo lang competency appraisal around mga 300, 200 to 300 na mga students, kaya siya i-cater. No, so distancing lang jud ta per minute as in. But that's my feeling, no? Dama po tong gi propose ni Sir Eddie, no, sa yung recent letter. A little bit insider tip lang. Next, number 6, the answer is 2592. Kang kining amount, ay 2, na 2560 pala, sorry. 2560. The kining amount ng investment is at its fair value. 2560. Do you agree ba na okay, are you amenable na ang next semester is mag face-to-face na mga exam? Okay ba sa inyo, ha? For me, okay na sa kuan with siya. As in. Mas klaro jud kay makasulat-sulat, no? Katong nagstorya mi ni Marvin sa consultation. Yan siya, na-stress daw siya kay dito siya kasulat-sulat sa kuan. Which ako pod, no, I would also say na layo jud ang naday kuan hard copy kama linya-linyahan nimo just like what I'm doing now. Lahi ra jud. Lahi ra jud. Okay. Let's have our last problem for this morning. Problem number 7. Hopefully, wala ma-stress. Sige daw, kamo daw ba? Number 1, number 2, and number 3. Sige daw. Let's read muna para sabay-sabay ta masabot pug ko. Black Corporation owns 300,000 shares of White Incorporated's 1,000,000 shares issued and outstanding purchased on January 2, 2014 at 20 per share. So 300 divided by 1 million, this is 30% ownership. 300,000 times 20 pesos per share, this is 6 million. Tama ba? 6 million. Ang kanyang total niya na cost. White net asset had a book value on the said date at 16 million. The acquisition cost over book value of that asset is attributable to the total understatement of White's land and building with average useful life of 800,000 and 1.2 million respectively. Okay? The balance is attributable to the unidentifiable asset. White declared 800,000 cash dividend. Kunin nyo lang yung 30% dyan. Meron siyang total comprehensive income na 2 million, pero net siya ng unrealized holding loss na 500,000. Sige daw. 1, 2, and 3. I'll give you mga 5 minutes. I'll give you 5 minutes. While storytelling po ko dire sa kuan. While Shopee. Kasi I told my students last semester, itong mga nag-second sem last semester, ko na, I think this will be the last year na I could withstand an online class. Kaya murag, ay, kago ba ni Kanang gusto ko na next school year at least ba kanang hybrid atong kuanggot ano ato ang klase, may face to face, may online, 'di ba? Murag kapoy yung online super. Ang kuha man as to lesson wala kay ko'y problema, 'no? Akong problemahan jud kanang assessment jud kanang online, 'di jud kay ko ka-ano, ka murag I can't really rely on the credibility of the examination. Ang kuan, accordingly, 'di ba 6 weeks, 6 days yung ating, klase Monday to Saturday. Half of it daw will be sabi ni Sir Eddie ha, I don't know sa arrangement sa pre-rev, but for the general classes, 3 days online, 3 days face to face. That will be the parang direksyon ng university with regards to tawag nito, yung classes. Oo, the lecture could be online, exams, assessment will be on face to face. Kana arang-arang na na siya intawon. Hopefully 'no, next school year na natay face to face. So this year, I think January baka na, on the second semester this school year, baka nanay mga face to face na mga exam, especially the competency appraisal. Ang competency appraisal pod next year, abot na yata mag 200, abot na yata 200 something. Kaya 100 something good mo karon tapos ang mga uy tama abot na mag 300. Kaya mga third year karon na accountancy mga 200 man sila. Ay mga fourth year karon na accountancy na new core kay mga 200 lang pod sila. So, ayun mga 200 plus yung magiging ano, daghan-daghan na jud in town. Yung mga ano, mag new core na next sem. Sir, unsay mahimong katabo sa mo? Ay ko pakutan-ak ka o kabalo. Si Sir JD ang makatubag ana. Si Ladin ang makatubag lang ana. I don't know, I cannot comment. Wala jud ko idea. At least. Okay. Number 1, pila nga atong goodwill? We have goodwill. You have 6 million, 'di ba? Then 16 million times 30%, 16 times 0.3, 4.8 million. Ate 1.2 million diha for your land and building. For the land, 800,000 times 30%, 800 times 30%, 240. For the building, 1.2 million times 30%, 1.2 times 0.3, 360. Therefore, sorry, okay, our goodwill will be 600,000. Now we have letter A. Ipangano sa dapat ninyo ng mga ano, to mga land, building, to mga overvaluation. No? You need to deduct those talaga. Okay? Next, how much the investment income should be reported in the Black Corporation's profit or loss. Okay? Dahil lang yan, kuhin natin yung share sa net income niya. Okay? The total comprehensive income is 2 million. Pero this includes, which is already a net. Net na siya sa unrealized holding loss. Therefore, 2 million, add back natin yung 500,000. Ginet man ang unrealized holding loss, we just need to get the net income muna, the share in net income. Then, isa-separate natin pag share itong 500,000. Do not lump these. Okay? Because itong net income is PL to siya. Itong 500,000 is OCI to siya. We need to share sa OCI. Remember ha, share in net income, share in net loss. It doesn't mean na pag na OCI or unrealized other comprehensive loss, dito ta mo share gyapon ta. You're going to share from the other comprehensive income or other comprehensive loss. Pero dapat nakaseparate siya. Okay? Record natin para mas ma-appreciate natin. IIA, investment income, 2.5 million. Itong net income talaga niya, times 30%, that's how much? 750, tama ba? 750. Next is yung unrealized holding loss. That is investment income, OCI. Kasi OCI siya, di ba? So, dapat yung income natin, OCI din siya papunta. Then, IIA, 500,000 man yun, no? 500,000 times 30%. You have 150. Okay? Next natin is itong building natin, 'di ba? Nasa useful life 'di ba na 5 years. So, we'll divide this one with 5. So, investment income, IIA, what 150? IIA, 360,000 divided by 5. 360 divided by 5, 72. 72,000 perhaps. Next, last is yung dividends natin. Meron siyang dividends na 800,000, 'di ba? Dito 800,000. So, cash, IIA, 8 800,000 times 30%, 240,000. So, number 2, what's our number 2? Pila ang ibutang as investment income under profit or loss? How much to put under profit or loss? 678. That's correct, letter A. No, kani lang. Kani, o kana. OCI man na ang 150. OCI man ang 150. 678 lang. Number 3, how much is to be reported sa statement in comprehensive income? Remember, the comprehensive income is net income under PL plus OCI minus unrealized comprehensive loss, ay other comprehensive loss. Okay? Technically, net income plus or minus the other comprehensive items. That will be our comprehensive income. Therefore, for number 3, pag magka sa comprehensive income, net income, i-consider mo yung mga OCI and OCL. Pila? Number 3. Our answer for number 3. Kita ba na ko diri? I-appeal na ninyo, oh. 150. Answer is 528. That's very correct. Letter D. 750 minus 150 minus 72. Gupit ko gahapon. But next week dapat pictorial man dami ugma gid. Okay? Nakaaba number 3, comprehensive income. Dapat net income i-consider sa PL, consider mo 'tong mga other comprehensive item. Number 4, what is the carrying amount of the investment? Sika, di na kumukuha na ikaw mo na bala ani oy. Number 4, pila man? Naka-entry na ta diri. Okay? Nanatay ko diri. 6 million na ko. Saro. Tudloan pata mo sa bagwas number 4. Ilang carrying value ana? The answer is 6288. Sige, 6288. Nasundan ba? Everybody. Eh, dito mabalik diha. Dili na ta sa labad. Number 5, number 6 na ta sa labad. Di ba kuha na dyan kong eyeglass na pa-eyeglass man ko katong November 1. Awa na ko, yes. Katong November 2. The first time I wore this, medyo nagtuyok akong tibok kalabutan kay no, nabaguhan ko sa ano, grado. Taas akong grado katuon na kay right is 20, ang left kay 25, karon kay ang right kay 50, ang left kay 75 wa na. Taka na smart din. Okay, sige. Number 5. Assuming that White company issued 200,000 shares to other stockholders. Sige, kita ha? 'Di ba you own 300,000 shares for out of 1,000,000 na total. That's why we have 30%. Sa original, you own 300,000 for a total of 1,000,000 out of 1,000,000 na total. Now, assuming daw that White Incorporated issued additional 200,000 shares at 30 per share to other stockholders. Meaning, kani 200,000, wa ka na pilaghatag. It's either you were offered but you declined or hindi ka talaga bin you were not offered at the very beginning. At the first place, hindi ka on-offeran. Okay? But whatever is the circumstances, let's account for that. So meaning, yung total na ano, after the issuance, you still own 300,000, but the total number of shares is 1,000,000 plus 200,000, 1.2 million na siya. Originally, you own 30%. Ngayon, pinalay mo ownership ninyo people. What's the percentage of your ownership na ngayon? You own now 300,000 shares out of 1.2 million shares. What's your percentage of ownership now? We have 25%. That's correct. 25%. This is what we called a dilution. Dilution of ownership. No? This is the dilution of ownership. So, how do we account for the dilution of the ownership? Napakasimple lang po. Napakasimple lang po talaga ng pag-account nito. Na yung sa source ko nito, yung kanyang ano, yung kanyang solution, sabot. Medyo may pagka-complicated, no? So, I source out other references for me to consolidate kato na didto o sa tong gipaingon niya so that I ko sa akong news, sa akong source, so that I could make a parang shortcut or a parang simpler way in computing or in accounting for dilution, in getting the gain or loss on dilution. Okay, dito tayo. Dito muna tayo sa yung na-discover ko na simplification. Your carrying amount is 6288. 6288. Okay? It is assumed na binenta mo daw sale kasi true sale daw. What is considered as true sale as if binenta mo daw. Times 20, 'di ba? Itong ating 6288, ito ating total carrying amount is 30%. 30% na siya, 'di ba? 30% siya. Ngayon, from 30%, naging 25% na lang. O, kunin natin yung part ni 25% times 25 over 30. That's how much? 6,288 times 25 over 30. 5,240. No, 5,240. But again ha, hindi mo talaga to siya binenta as if lang binenta mo. You did not sell any, nag-dilute lang yung shares mo. Okay? Your shares just diluted but there's no such thing as sale na nangyari. Again, meron lang nangyaring dilution. No? And we talk about dilution, lumiit, no? There was a decrease in your ownership. Then i-add mo ngayon, you add, sige, pila tong ano, total proceeds sa share? 200,000 times 30. Pilang total proceeds sa issuance? You get your share. Kunin mo yung share mo dyan. 200,000 times 30, this is 6 million perhaps. Tama ba? Ah, times 25%. Kanong share mo dyan? 1.5 million. Add mo yung dalawa. 5,240 plus 1.5 million. 6,740. Ito na ngayon ang investment in associate mo. Ito na yung bagong account. Ito na yung bagong amount that you should record as your investment in associate as a result of the dilution. Dapat 6,740 na ang amount mo dapat. Therefore, 6,288 versus 6,740, pila karon ang difference? How much is the difference? 452,000. 452,000 na siya, no? 452,000. I'll put dito, 452,000. Lagay ko na sa gilid kasi mga tayong space dyan. Now, the question was, ilalagay sa profit or loss. Remember, itong carrying amounts mo dito, mga carrying amounts mo dito, assume dyan na 'di ba na naatay investment income na 150 na OCI gain na sa number 2. Okay? So kunin natin. We are going to deduct no the kanang 150 the pita people. We are going to exclude there no yung 150 na nandiyan people. Okay? Exclude natin siya. Okay? So 150,000 times ilan nga yung nabenta? 'Di ba from 30 to 25% there was a decrease of 5%. So times 5 over 30. 5% over 30%. Magkano yung matatanggal from the OCI? Yung sa OCI na portion. 25. So magkano yung papunta sa tag nito? Sa gain or loss? 427. 427. So, answer natin for number 5 is 427. Again na, yung total gain natin, our total gain is 452. Itong 452 talaga. Pero since ang tinatanong lang naman is profit or loss, kukunin natin yung sa OCI. Need to, tawag nito, deduct there yung attributable sa OCI para yung matira, PL na lang. 427. Now, let's record. I-record natin para ma-appreciate natin. I-journal and let's journalize this one. Journalize natin to siya. Okay? Journalize natin to siya. I'll just record that one here. Dan sa gilid. Okay? Debit, 'di ba? 'Di ba nag-increase from 6,288 naging 6,740. So may increase na 452. Debit tayo investment and associate 452. Tatanggalin natin yung sa OCI. Investment income OCI. 'Di ba kay naka-debit man to siya ganina. So katong 150. So para matanggal siya, i-credit na to siya amounting to 25,000. Then we have a gain on dilution. That's for 427,000. Ayun, tapos na. Yun na yung medyo complicated. Because Ang ginawa ko kasi kagabi, pinalo ko yung kanyang process, naghanap ako ng mas madali, para makahanap ako ng mas madali, ay siyempre I made my own. So naghanap ako ng different sources kagabi, nagbasa ng standard kung meron ba tayong specific guidance from the standard regarding sa dilution. Unfortunately, walang na-mention sa past 28 regarding on how do we account, specifically account for the dilution of the investment associate. I also look at past PS number 1 yesterday on how do we account itong decrease in the OCI. Di ba may OCI na something dito? Kung meron ba siyang guidance regarding to that. And wala din. It turns out na wala. So, naghanap ako ng ibang sources pa, foreign sources regarding dilution. And this happened. Ito yung na-discover ko. Ay naman di ay. Ay naman di kayo. Sa ngayon, how much is our investment in associate? Magkano yung investment in associate natin, people? After the dilution, how much now is the carrying amount of our investment in associate? Pila na, people? Sorry. Kaya ang balance sa itong associate. Yeah, gawan, 12 minutes na lang, mamanat ta. How much is the value of our associate? 6, 7, of course, it's 6,740. May ganyan, di ba? Di ba mo na siyang bako na amount, di ba, no? 6,740. O, i-entryhan pa ninyo from 6 to 8,8. O, at adan nyo 452. 6,740 talaga yan siya. It's really 6,740. Okay? Okay ba ta? Nasundan ba yung process, people? Isa po sa nagpa-pull sa gabi is I look for other po na mga problems na ma-solve para ma-master ko talaga siya, no? Para pa-explain ko sa inyo ngayon, di mo ma-stress, no? So, ayun. So, medyo doon din ako tagalan kagabi. Tapos syempre na mga pa-YouTube pa. Nasamot kadugay. Okay. Next. Number 6, number 7, and number 8. Assuming that White issued additional 200 shares, simple at 30 pesos per share to other stockholders, what will be the total gain or loss on dilution recognized in 2015 profit or loss provided that the goodwill is not considered sold? What if hindi natin we did not the goodwill will be eliminated from the from the parang consideration kumbaga. Sige. 'Di ba 6,288 'yun siya? 6,288. We have 6,288. Magkano pa yung goodwill natin kanina? Magkano yung goodwill kanina? Our goodwill kanina is 600,000. No? 600,000 yung goodwill. Nandiyan sa number 1, letter A. 600,000. Minus natin 600,000. That's how much? After, di ba sabi natin, hindi daw i-consider sa pagbenta sa deemed sold na yung goodwill. So, tatanggalin natin. Oh. Ilan na siya, people? 5, 6, 8. 5,688. Ang gagawin natin, after that one, di ba? Times 25 over 30. Times 25 over 30 because mamato ka itong ibaligya. Di ba? Times 25 over 30. Oh, how much was left sa atin? 5,688. 5,688, how much will be left? 25 over 30. 4,740. Oh, we have 4,740. Add back mo yung goodwill. Siyempre, kasi kukuha natin yung balance ng associate mo. Pero sa pagbenta natin, hindi natin isasali ibenta. We are not going to include the goodwill in the actual sale. So, tinanggal natin siya para pagkuha sa pagbaligya, di siya ma-consider. But once we compute na, add back na natin siya para makuha yung value ng ating investment. Add back natin yung 600. Plus, yung share mo, itong 1.5 million sa share mo sa proceeds, add mo yung 1.5 million dyan, yung share mo sa proceeds. Plus 1.5 million. O pila na karon mo ang IAA mo after the sale without considering the goodwill for 740 plus 600,000 plus 1.5 million is 6,840. O, compare mo ang old ug ang new na carrying amount, pila nga tong gain natin? 552, letter C. I'm so proud with myself. Mano ano na-happy jud ko nun. Ay nakibagong learning kagabi. Ato pang isa atong problem 8 na ko discuss anyang gabi new learnings po to siya for me. Although saya naman kay itong problem number 8 oy. Itong 9 ang lavad. Okay na ta. Okay. Na ta ha. Let's go to number 7. Assuming that Black Corporation sold 120 of its investment. Di ba people 300,000 to siya out of 1 million? Gibaligya ang 120. So pilang mabilin? 180,000 na lang. So from 30%, mahimo na siya karong 18%. Gibaligya man imong 12%. Therefore, there is now what we call cessation. Kanina dilution. Kumonti lang yung ano mo, kumonti na yung share mo ngayon, binenta mo na siya. At pagbenta mo, nawala na yung significant influence mo kasi it went below 20%. Na bumaba na siya below 20%. So there is what we call cessation na. So account natin siya. Sige. Binenta mo daw 30 per share. Okay, sige. 120,000 times 30. Magkano ang total proceeds natin, people? 120,000 minus 30 times, tama, minus, times 30. 3.6 million. Okay. Magkano yung carrying amount, people? Carrying amount natin kanina, 6,288, di ba? Times 12,000 shares over 30,000 shares para makuha yung cost ng binenta natin na investment. 6,288 times 12 over 30. 2,500, tama ata? Tama ba? Binenta. 2,515,200. You have 2,515,200. O, magkano gain? Gain niya. Minus 36. 1,084? Ano? 1,084,800. Na? 1,084,800. Okay, meron tayong diyang gain na 1,084,800. Wait lang, hindi pa tayo tapos. Hindi pa naman, oh. Nga naman, di ba syempre, gikan sa associate, may mo na siya karong from IAA, it will now become FAFVTPL na siya. 'Di ba? It will become FFBTPL kasi nawala na yung kanyang significant influence, 'di ba? So, i-remeasure na natin siya. Okay? So, walang binigay, meron bang binigay na fair market value dito? Did we mention kanina sa problem merong fair market value? People, wala po. Wala pong fair market value dyan. And dapat remember, when we transfer to FFBTP, dapat naka-fair value din. So, since walang fair value dito sa problem, balik tayo sa question. Since nabenta siya at 30 pesos now, at number 7, nabenta siya at 30 pesos now, assume din that's the fair value ngayon, no? Yung 30 pesos. So, 180 times 30. Pila ang total fair value niya? 5.4 million. Next, magkano yung cost of the remaining IIA? Di ba dapat ma-cancel na dapat siya? So, times 18,000 over 30,000. Pila ang cost sa IIA na ma-reclassify? 5.4, sorry, 6,288 times 18 over 30, 33, 377,800. No? 377,800. May yata, tama mo yata, no? 377,800. Therefore, we have 1,627,200, I believe. 1,627,200. 1,6, thank you, Nor. 1,627,200. O, total nyo nga. Total nyo nga. Lahat-lahat. 1,627,800 plus 1,084,800. 2,712. Tama ba? Na 2,712. Pero hindi pa yan yung final answer natin, people. Napodizer, oo. Ano man. 'Di ba yung ating carrying amount sa 6,288 kanina, it includes the consideration of our 150 na OCI. Siyempre, naman siya sa balance sheet and it is related sa ating investment in associate. And since wala ng associate, mawala na pod ning 150,000. Tabo na ko. Sa ating pag-solve kanina sa associate, meron tayong na-discover na 150,000 na nakalagay sa investment income OCI, in which related to siya sa investment in associate. And since we are now going to cancel the associate because binenta na natin yung 12%, we are left with 18% which automatically become FFBTPL, tatanggalin na din natin itong 150,000. Tanggalin, minus 150,000. So what's our answer? We have 2,562,000. So answer for number 1, letter C. 'Di ba? Ang saya-saya ng problem na 'to. Super. And for number 8, pila daw ang realized. 'Di ba pag realized, ito yung related sa nabenta sa sold item. Tama ba 'to? Sa sold item. Okay? Nabenta na shares. So magkano ngayon kanina? 1,084,800. Kunin mo yung share niya ng 150 na OCI times 12 over 30. Di ba 12,000 shares yung binenta? O 150 times 12 over 30. Ayun no, 60,000 may yata ni. Di ba? 60,000. So answer is 1,0242. Ano ba? 200 man no? 1,024,800. Ano siya? Letter A. 800 dapat niya siya. 1,024,800. Agay, kalabad sa ulo. Labad sa ulo. Who will agree na complicated to siya na problem. It seems like very easy, pero agdaray. Kalabad sa problem. Yeah, it's very complicated, no? Looks can be deceiving, it is. But I'm very happy, no? Because meron akong bago natutunan. No? Na-appreciate ko talaga basing pula ko gabi eh. Bas. Nag-chat ako barkada kay mag-organize daw mi og kuan arong weekend. Samot na ako ang kaon sa akong oras gabi eh. Okay, for the theory question, tama yung sagot ko dito. Investment man ni, no? Ito investment na ko day na. Answer ki. Gutom na mo people. Ayun. Ay, di mo. Gutom na mo guys. Ang kamay ng jud people. Kasi may open ako investment nakin. Investment nakin. Very. Sige, sa ko na lang sa tawag ani. Theories na lang. I will still issue a parang summary ng answer. No? I will issue a summary of the answer para na mo'y centralized answer. Number 1, delta. Number 2, bravo. Number 3, delta. Number 4, alpha. Number 5, alpha. 6, alpha. 7, alpha. 8, Charlie. 9, bravo. 10, delta. 11, alpha. 12, Charlie. 13, bravo. 14, bravo. 15, alpha. Sabon. 1 delta, 2 bravo, 3 delta, 4 alpha, 5 alpha, 6 alpha, 7 alpha, 8 Charlie, 9 bravo, 10 delta, 10 alpha, 12 Charlie, 12 bravo, 14 bravo, 15 alpha. Okay? Gahapon, sa imo naman mo grades gahapon, no? Mga wala pa ito'y 12:00, tama ba? Natapos sa kay Ma'am Grace kahapon. Kaya naman na nagkaon namin sa office. Kasi naman si Ma'am Grace. So, I think that will be all for this morning, everyone. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your participation. And I hope you have learned something for this afternoon. Although it was complicated, pero I hope na natin natunan. No? So, thank you all. God bless. Stay safe. And may God give you peace. Bye-bye. Abti, kinakahawa sila. Oy.